Hey guys, this is RolloutReviews with RolloutReviews, bringing you another S.H.Figuarts review. This time it is Masked Rider Kabuto, Rider Form. Now this is a 2.0 or Renewal version of this particular rider. The original S.H.Figuarts Kabuto came out quite a while ago, and while I don't have it to compare, it's pretty dated, and it goes without saying that this version is vastly superior. Now, Bandai Tamashii Nations has been advertising this figure for months because it is a pioneer for the new S.H.Figuarts base mold, which can do some pretty impressive things. So let's take a look at this figure and see how it holds up. We'll set Tendo Soji walking the path of heaven over here and take a look at the impressive new packaging that this guy comes in. It's like nothing we've ever seen before in the S.H.Figuarts line, and the presentation is just fantastic. You have the figure itself right here on the front, very minimal on the side, but it still looks pretty quality. On the back here you have some images of the toy itself. Now this slides open almost like a new cell phone case here, or a new cell phone packaging, and it's really nice. You got a message on the inside there. I'm sure it's super important, but I can't read Japanese. Then you have the clamshell on the inside here. Sort of a new style of clamshell. The ease of access is very nice with this. Now inside you also get this little concept book. Now when I heard that this was coming with a concept book, I was relatively excited because they hype up this figure so much about it being sort of like a marvel of toy engineering. So I was expecting like a involved picture book, you know, showing off the design process for this figure, but we ended up with this, and it's incredibly underwhelming. Just a couple shots of the figure. It might be a little more interesting if I could actually, you know, read Japanese, but as is, there's not a whole lot going on here. You do have this interesting mold there, a clay mold of, you know, a human body that they sort of molded the armor of this figure around, which is kind of cool. And then you have a couple sketches of the knee design, and it's professional. But yeah, this is that's it, you know. I was expecting something a lot more out of this, but this is not the reason you buy it. Here is the new Kabuto, and wow, I just want to say, like, this blew me out of the water. I was expecting quality when I went in on this deal, but this blows me away. So let's start off by taking a look at the head. A vast improvement, like I said, over the original Kabuto S.H.Figuart. The Kabuto, the original one, it had sort of a stylized aesthetic. Most S.H.Figuarts do, but it seems that the original Kabuto was especially a victim to that, because the head sculpt was super thin, and I know that a lot of people didn't find that too much of a problem, but when you look at it side by side with this one, you can definitely tell well, the level of accuracy that this one's going for in comparison, and it's really impressive. You got all the little details in there, the beautiful compound dyes detail all the way around. Apparently there are some copies of this figure that have some pretty sketchy paint around the head sculpt. Mine seems pretty fine, but do note that around the eyes here, that is translucent plastic painted over in black. On mine you can sort of see just around the horn a little bit of that translucence showing through, but like I said, on some copies of this figure, that paint wasn't applied very well, and it just doesn't look very good at all in the light. Hopefully that's not too common of a problem. The chest there has some nice details molded throughout. The belt itself actually has a little hinge on it, so you can do some rider kick action. Some great details on that. Not everything is present, but you know, it's close enough, I guess. I love the sort of panel lines all over this guy. Really make some of those details pop, especially in the belt, all those ridges. In the back here, you have some details that weren't present on the original Kabuto. I really like the finish they decided to go with the red here. It is shiny enough to be very, very noticeable, very striking and beautiful, but it's not nearly as candy red as the original Figuart Kabuto, and I think this version is a lot more show accurate in terms of the color. The arm has some great details in there around the elbow, in the hands. You even have some little red pads on the palm. Just an excellent mold all the way around. Now, he does have some modified Type 2 hips here. I'll show off the articulation here in just a bit, but just judging by how it looks, I personally don't find it too much of a problem, but that breakage in there could bother plenty of people, I assume. The legs are molded maybe a little off. There's some very noticeable angles there, but again, not too bad. And of course, the feet have some great details as well. Overall, it is just a fantastic figure. Now, by far my favorite part about this is just the fact that it actually looks like a man in a suit. That's what I've wanted from an S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider for so very long, and some of them got pretty close, but for the most part, they all just are a little bit off. This guy, that's not the case. He has, you know, enough bulk all the way around to actually look like there's a man inside here, and it really does look great. If you remember back to that concept book, they had the molds, the clay mold there, and it really does look like they molded this around that so that it looked correct anatomically. And I mean, like, the proportions on this guy are flawless. He looks like he jumped out of the show, and I can't ask for any more than that. You have some nice, like, organic, let's see if I can show this. You have some nice, like, organic looking cloth details on the inside there. If I lift this section up, you can see sort of the molding of the abs underneath the armor itself. Same thing in the back here. It's very, very impressive all the way around. I really have no problems with the way this guy looks, and if they decide to take this route of you know, actually looking like there's a guy in the suit with the rest of the Figuarts from here on out, I will definitely be pleased. As for articulation, we'll start off with the head here. Very, very expressive neck joint here. It goes down ridiculously far. Not too far back just because of the molding of the helmet here, but it's still pretty good. Goes side to side all the way around. I do find it's a little bit annoying trying to get that neck piece centered. A little bit tedious, but overall, even though his neck is actually, like, proportional and thick, whereas, you know, usual Figuarts have like a very thin neck just to allow more movement. This guy gets around that very, very well while still looking great. His shoulders have this incredible amount of movement up like that. They go all the way around on that internal joint in there. You can get a better look of that organic looking cloth molding in there. But, you know, it goes forward and back all the way around. Hilariously, his pec sections here are actually on little joints, so they can compress in. So that's something I've really never seen before. That allows just a bit more movement in the arms forward, whereas if you brought them like this, you wouldn't nearly have as much mobility. Now, his shoulder pads are on the double hinge here, but they're also on a mini ball joint, so basically they can get out of the way in whatever position you put them in, and it's very seamless, you know, like you bring the arm up and it just goes where you want it. It's really great. Rotation up here, double joint in the elbow, and his wrist has, well, gone a little bit Figma. It can go up like that, down like that, an incredible range range there. It rotates all the way around, but unfortunately, because it's not on a ball joint anymore, you don't get any of this movement. I think it's worth it for the incredible range you get out of this joint. Now, his waist section here is pretty interesting. It's actually on an internal hinge system that allows it to come out a little bit like this, allowing just a bit more movement side to side and forward and back. Unfortunately, the molding here causes it to catch a little bit sometimes. Easy enough to fix, you just sort of push it like that back into the armor, but it is worth noting, same thing sort of happens when you bring the chest back like this, but once again, it's easy to get over. But he goes that far back, which is very nice, forward this far. However, he does have this little hinge in his armor so that you can bring it over the Kabuto Zector, so he can just get a little bit more crunch. I think it looks just a little bit ugly because of that overlap, but oh well, it's worth it for that extra mobility, I think. Rotates as well. Now, his hip joints here, you know, they are the modified Type 2 hips, but I really like them. They're very, very solid. I have no problems at all with it. I actually prefer it over the Type 1, but that is just me. Some people, like I said, will definitely be put off by the way that looks, by the way it breaks up the armor, but I'm definitely not one of those people. The knee bends, and you know, like the concept book would illustrate, it's very natural looking. The way they have sort of a slight hinge and then a bigger hinge down here makes the knee bend really well. It doesn't go, you know, a full 180 there, but somebody wearing a suit like this wouldn't be able to do that anyway, so it's not a problem to me. His ankles have a decent amount of tilt. They go forward and back very, very far. I like that. And he's got the toe. So, all things considered, he's got a very organic, very natural level of posability. You can get him in any pose, and he just looks great. Seamless. As for accessories, first off, this figure comes with this neat little rack for holding the additional hands, so that's nice. It can come apart, and you can add on to it with future releases that have a similar hand joint, so that's pretty cool. Keep all of your additional hands in one compact place. As for additional hands, he obviously comes with these standard fists. As you can see, they're on this little peg joint there with a hinge. He also comes with, you know, the Path of Heaven hand. I do feel that this could have been molded maybe just a little bit better. I feel the index finger should be just a bit more straight and the thumb should be just a bit more bent, but we're getting into nitpicky territory here. He comes with these really nice calm hands. This is the ideal calm hand for me. It's very versatile and looks great basically in any pose. I love how that was done, and again with the range in that wrist, you can do some really great things with it. He's also got some holding hands here for holding the kunai weapon, which is very nicely done. It's got some little tiny bits on the end there that you might want to be careful with. Don't want to break those. You also have the blade. Some really nice details on this. And once again, it has the same exact red finish that I liked so much on the figure itself. I think it's a little difficult getting the weapons in the hands, but not too much. A very snug fit, which is good. And replacing the hands is actually super easy. A lot less scary than on some of the other Figuarts that have ball joint replacement hands. As you can see, there's just a little socket there, and we can plug this hand in place just like that. So he has his kunai. On top of that, he also comes with some trigger finger holding hands. So, if we get him in a little bit of a better pose here, Let's replace this hand with, I don't know, with a calm hand again. And pull this one off. Again, super easy to switch out these hands. We can attach that. And he comes with the kunai weapon in gun mode, which is awesome. You can hold it by this end and have it be the axe, but it doesn't have the additional axe add-on. That's something sort of more exclusive for his masked form, so it's not really needed here. But this can fit into his hand. This is the one I have the hardest time actually fitting in. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Again, nice and snug. And you can have him holding his pistol, which he only does, you know, a couple times in the show. In this form, at least. But it is nice to have. Kabuto isn't a very armed rider. He's very much hand-to-hand combat based, but it is nice that he came with the accessories that he did. So overall, this is an absolutely stunning figure. It definitely lives up to the hype. The articulation is impressive and fluid and natural. The design is very complex, but still simple enough in function to be fun to mess around with without it being too fiddly. I love the way that this guy looks. The proportions are phenomenal, and it looks like he just jumped right off of the screen. The only thing, and I mean the only thing the original Kabuto figure has going for it is the die-cast feet. But if the fact that this guy has plastic feet is really gonna lose you on the deal, then I don't even know what to say. I definitely recommend this for any fan of Kabuto, Kamen Rider, or Figuarts in general. Even if you have the original Kabuto, I would still highly recommend this. It is so much of an improvement, and on top of that, just because of this guy's design and execution alone, you definitely want to have this in your S.H.Figuarts collection. So, that is about it, guys, and this is IX RolloutIX, signing off.